Cymatics just dropped a huge bombshell on us by releasing their brand new effects plugin, Memory. Memory is a vintage effects plugin using both chorus and vibrato to get a very nostalgic feel for any of your melodies. It just got released today, so I don't have any experience with it. We're gonna go through it together and see if it's something that's worth picking up. So let's get started. Now, right when I heard what this plugin can do, I had the idea to get something from my own sample pack. This melody right here from the Simulation Beats Fantasy Pack, number 3, Water Level. I just have a few ideas over here on how to use it with the limited knowledge that I do have. So let's go and put on Cymatics Memory right there. Now the main thing here is going to be about pitch modulation, so let's try and see what we can come up with. You can already hear that difference, right? You can see it happening in real time right there. Going all the way to 0 right here is going to be very jagged turns. Very obvious, right? Going to the smooth, you can see the line smoothing out. Increase the depth if you want to increase the smoothness like that. Like that, I can definitely hear better. Change up the rate. Okay, so playing with these knobs right here, this can definitely add like more fast-paced movement to a slower sort of melody. So if I leave it down to the rate of like 9 or something like that, something like 7.4, it sounds fine and it sounds very smooth, but increasing it, it almost sounds like it's hurrying along the melody. And then we've got a double button over here. Oh, that's very cool. Okay, so now it's moving in 2 different, probably frequency ranges, right? I think so. So as you can see right here, even without any sound going on, without the track being played, it's still going to be always moving. It's always going to be random. So hitting the play button, it's always going to be random, so hitting it again will have a different result. Random effects are always very pleasing, gives it that more analog feel, and makes it so every next part of the track is going to be a little bit different in a very small way. It's like you're never getting the same 2 or 4 bar loop again. So I wonder if I would like something more like this. So I want a low rate and then a high depth maybe? That sounds pretty good right there. Okay, so I'm wearing headphones right now, obviously, and hitting the double button definitely has a, like a stereo effect. You can definitely hear it more separated. Really cool. Filters. Okay, cool. What's the sensitivity? Oh, okay, so it's going to be just changing the range in which the filter's taking effect. Okay. Increasing the noise over here. Oh, is that what the filter's for? Interesting, okay. It does not look like it can change the noise either, which is a little bit annoying. It's just like white noise going on throughout the entire time, which I'm not a huge fan of. Change from a high pass to a low pass though. I'll be honest here, I don't really love the noise that much. But adding in tastefully like that, how I just lowered it, actually does sound pretty nice, pretty pleasing. The thing about it being random, though, is that sometimes it can be a little bit too often. That's not a problem. It's just that for me personally, when it happens like back-to-back extremes like that, it's a little bit jarring. And then from there, all we really have is the in volume, the out volume, and then the mix. So if you want to help like blend the wet and dry signals, go and give that a try. Okay, so blending the wet and dry signals over here kind of gives it that more chorus effect, which I think is pretty nice. Because we're getting more separated with the double over here, while keeping the dry signal a bit more mono like that how we had before. So it's having those imperfections while still keeping the original signal like that. It's really nice. So you're getting those dramatic effects just a little bit more in the background. So that sounds all well and good there, but I'm actually going to be deleting that now off the bus and then putting Cymatics Memory on each individual track, which we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone over here and go through some of the presets. But it's actually not that many presets over here, so it's going to be a handful that we went through right now. But that's okay, because the cool thing about the just basis of this plugin, it's so random. You can have the same preset on each individual track, and it would not do the same thing to each one. So just to test that out over here, let's do all of them on kaleidoscope, all right? I'm going to try and build this up the best way that I can, like this. Something like that should work. Let's get a little bit closer even. Yeah, they're definitely all moving at random rates away from each other. But definitely needs to be smoothened out quite a bit. Making it more natural here should be the way to do it. I think that's all that I've really got here in the case of melodies. Let's try putting on some drums and see what happens. And slowing down the tempo to something more like 75. But I don't really have too high hopes for this one. Take off my headphones for this one. Interesting, okay. So I was not sure how this was gonna work, but I actually think I found something that I like here. The pitch modulation actually does make it sound like the drum loop is changing throughout it, so that's actually pretty nice. With there, I put the smooth down to 0 though, and the filter is just there for like lo-fi sense, nothing really too crazy there. And then for the depth over here, 100%, pretty fast rate probably too, but not enough towards influencing each individual sample, but just enough for there to be more variety between the loop. That's pretty much the only case that I could really see it using for drums, maybe for like a perk loop or something like that too. And after all that, here's how it sounds now. Okay, so very short right here. I think it's time to get to the final thoughts though. Alright, so what do we think about the brand new Cymatics Memory Effects plugin? So there are two things I like to look for when downloading a new plugin, right? Number one, what does it do and does it make a lasting effect? I think it's definitely got those. You can change a melody in very major ways by doing basically nothing. Just slap on that plugin and you've got instant vintage vibes. So check mark there. But the other thing I look for is going to be, is it cost effective? Which, it's free. So yes, honestly, when having a free plugin, it's very hard to bash it unless it's very glitchy, but this plugin runs smoothly. And you don't need to just stick to lo-fi with this. You can do something more for like trap or any other genre really. This sort of effect is a widespread effect. So if nothing else, I think it's definitely worth giving it a download and trying it out for yourself. The one thing that I will say is that when I first saw it and heard about it and what it could do, it reminded me of the two plugins they've already got out. It sounded like a combination of the Cymatics Origin plugin and the Lotus Delay plugin, which yes, it does share similar effects and similar sounds to it, but I know that their goal here was going to be to emulate a certain effects pedal. I know that they reverse engineered it to really emulate it as close as possible, and personally think they did a very good job with this one.